some amends to make, John.
Absolutely, yeah. If Rowan Smith's philosophy is for his defensive line to bend, it can't break. And last week it broke at the hands of a mighty Warrington pack. Rowan Smith maybe implemented a different defensive strategy, but we'll tell a lot from this first set whether he's stuck with that.
In terms of the opposition, Hull FC, well, they were electric at the start of that game against Castleford Tigers, and right at the forefront were Brad Dwyer. And if we know anything about Brad Dwyer, he writes his own script. He'll be coming here with a point to prove, and there's no bets that will be taken that he won't get over that try line, especially from a show and go.
A big show and go.
The Black and Whites getting their hands on the ball first then tonight.
Stand up! Tackle 4, go!
And they have a huge army of travelling support behind them, and Dwyer already showing his hand.
Yeah, Barry McDermott's picked it straight away. Brad Dwyer gets into dummy half. You know one thing, he's going to fool with the markers and try and create some doubt like that.
Go, tackle 5!
So Hull getting to the kick, which is performed by Jake Clifford. A tall kick from him.
10, hold and hold!
And Leeds able to deal with it. Tua was underneath it.
That's a ball there, mate.
And Leeds really have got, in terms of the physicality, they were second best against Dwyer last week. They've really got the front up tonight, and they've got the set restart.
You're right, Bill, and I think the lads in the studio referenced that only one forward made over 100 metres, and that was Cameron Smith, and the top metre maker was the guy playing number 6, Blake Austin. So roll your sleeves up time.
Good run from Cameron Smith. He thought about offloading, but he's brought down on the Leeds 40-metre line, but he made good yards there. Now then, here goes Ash Hanley. Scored 5 tries in a game against Hull last season in the 62-16 win. And that was after Hull had won here at the start of the season, or early in the season. But both these sides went through very different second halves of the season. Hull going into decline to finish 9th. Leeds revived and making the grand final. Austin hoists the kick. And underneath it, Darnell McIntosh.
I think Phil Clark made a really good point. We overanalyse things week 1, don't we? So we're all talking about how bad Leeds were, but you've got to say it was at the hands of a Warrington team that were on fire. Leeds have got a real stimulus to improve here. But in Hull, Tex Hoy and Jake Clifford, which we've featured and the guys in studio have spoken about, are genuine stars. If they get their hands on enough possession tonight, they'll create something.
Here's Adam Swift, just turned 30 years of age, the former Saints man.
Off the ball, Reece!
Liam Sutcliffe back on familiar territory, wearing the black and white once of the Leeds Rhinos. And Myler underneath that ball, and that'll be a relief for Richie Myler because he was tormented last week.
I reckon I've watched pretty much most of Richie Myler's games he's played in his career. I've never seen him play as poorly as he played last week, but a good character, a strong character that I'm sure will bounce back tonight.
Move, Joe! Scott hits it!
There is 32-year-old Richie Myler, the Irish international, played in the World Cup, just gone.
And I think with the exception of Blake Austin, all the spine, all the key players for Leeds Rhinos massively underperformed, but everybody's got big expectations of Nene McDonald, the number 4.
On that, Barry, it's so hard to play well when your team's retreating and on the back foot all the time. So I respect Rowan Smith's defensive strategy, but it backfired catastrophically last week. Look, you can stick with it and refine it and improve it. But I believe they need to just apply more aggression, front load their energy more into the defence than they did.
Tex Hoy claiming that one, his first take of the night after Caesar had launched a big kick.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a bit of line speed from Cameron Smith, a bit of line speed from Cruz Leeming, and you're just making contact on or over the ad line.
Early moments here at a pretty full Headingley Stadium with a great atmosphere before the game. Such a feeling of anticipation, the first home game of the season, and people being reunited. Referee has spotted it.
There you go. Liam Sutcliffe, I think it was. Warrington a little bit further in front over at Huddersfield, but big night for Liam Sutcliffe. He's desperate to play that ball quickly, loses control. It was a good recognition, good tackle. Nene McDonald gets up quick.
It was a great spot, Barry McDermott. Laser vision from over here.
And hold your 10. Hold your
Tony
10.
Smith,
3, 4,
Stanley Keane
5, 6.
alongside him.
Tex, make sure you're ready at the back.
I hope he's brought his big coat.
Cruz, make sure you're ready at the
He's
back.
going to be cold.
Shot clock off.
It's a chill night
Ball's out.
in Leeds, but great heat being generated by the south stand down below us. We'll be warm enough. There's lots of hot air coming off.
It's perfect though, as a player. Cool, crisp. Nights like this are great for rugby league. And because it is so cold, you look for more work, Bill.
Reece Martin getting through some work there for Leeds. This Holroyd, great
good
run
carry.
from him, rumbustious run.
He'd have been disappointed last week. He's been the most impressive player in those pre-season friendlies.
It was an embarrassing game, wasn't it, for a number of the Leeds forwards, but certainly some more vigour about them here.
Little kick comes through. Nene McDonald chasing. Couldn't quite get there. The ball beat into the sideline. Hull breathed a sigh of relief.
He's waiting for that perfect bounce, isn't he? Maybe just needed to dive on it.
It was a smart kick from Richie Myler, wasn't it? What Richie Myler does really well, he just keeps Adam Swift on the end of the defensive line. He can't drop off and get there, and that just makes it a foot race for Nene McDonald and Tex Hoy. So close.
Bit of an escape for Hull FC there.
Hull, make it Cruz.
Started off impressively in the first half against the Castleford Tigers last week, leading 32 points to 6, and then very nearly blew it, did Hull, finishing 32-30 in the end. And Leeds are penalised, first penalty of the game.
There's no sign that they're backing off here. That's a penalty for coming off your line, so that maybe that passive approach is not evident here tonight. The question with Hull, Bill Arthur, is I think they can attack. We know they can attack, but under the pressure in pre-season, they were never tested defensively. Castleford stuck it on them for a one half and they nearly crumbled. They'll be looking for a complete defensive performance here.
Yeah, that is a concern for this Hull camp, that they haven't had an opportunity to really work on their defensive regime. They haven't been required to. Well, they might be here tonight, but they're on the attack at the moment, and it's the easily recognisable Brad Fash who plays that ball. McNamara on it comes to Tex Hoy, the new signing at fullback.
He looks confident, doesn't he? You know, his interview pre-game, amazing. Just to get someone's confidence ooze through the camera.
There he is. Now Ben McNamara. Tackle 10 metres out. Fourth tackle. Dwyer's pass. It bounces and it's seized on by Hanley. And a golden opportunity goes begging. Tony Smith scrutinises his monitor.
The referee's blown up for a knock-on at some point during that. Yeah, he's come off Scott Taylor. I thought it was just a poor pass from Brad Dwyer, but you're right, we are all excited about Tex Hoy and Jake Clifford. He's an old-fashioned number 7, Jake Clifford. Bit of physicality about him. He wants to run at plays, he wants to bump them off.
Competitive,
yeah,
isn't he? What's what we've seen. It could be just what Hull need. Consistent, competitive player wants his hands on the ball every game, not just big games.
Hoy and Clifford, two former Newcastle Knights in action in Super League. Here is Ash Hanley now, just turned 27. And Zane Tetavana, who was loose forward last week at Warrington, starting this evening. He'll bring some aggression up front, sometimes too much aggression.
Just watch out for Leeds here, really pinpointing Dwyer, getting him involved in tackles. They know how much of a threat he is. He used to play there, but tiring him out and taking juice out of him is just going to be key to Leeds' strategy here tonight.
So Holroyd runs straight at him. That'll take some juice out of you. And they're clinging on to Holroyd. Had a nightmare 2022, missed all season. So he's hoping to make a big impact here. The little kick ahead, and brave from Tex Hoy to come and collect that one while the boots were flying.
Yeah, and we saw Salford come. I think Hull KR did a great job on Andy Ackers, a 9 who loves to run. Hull KR, Danny Maguire, our guest here tonight, suggested, look, tiring those players out is smart. Well, it's certainly something that Leeds are doing here, really pushing around Brad Dwyer, making him make tackles.
The other game on this evening is at DW, and Wigan are 6-0 up. Latest score against Wakefield. Warrington leading at Huddersfield. Last we heard, here is Scott Taylor. Big season for him. 32 years old he'll be on Monday. And now Clifford kicks high towards the corner, and the ball is knocked on. By whom?
Fusitu'a.
It's Fusitu'a, yeah. Had all the time in the world to get that kick away then. And he was always under pressure.
How tall is
Was not Swift involved?
But how tall's Fusitu'a? 6'3", 6'4", he's a big man, isn't he?
Nearly as tall as me, Will Cup.
You wish, Barry McDermott. Oh, but what a great jump from Adam Swift.
Yeah.
From a, you know, he's got a running jump at it, but Adam Swift to out-jump Fusitu'a there, or even put him under pressure, fantastic.
Enfield goes to Hull FC after that knock-on. Fantastic position. Bang in front of those posts. 15 metres away from the Leeds try line. There, and here is Dwyer. Goes from the base of the scrum. Doesn't make much progress. His former teammates shutting him down. Now then, Scott Taylor. Taylor, legs driving, looking for a big season. After a couple of years when he's not managed to get the number of games he'd wished, and the referee has penalised Leeds.
Cruz Lehman, yeah, just put his hand around the ruck. Knows Brad Dwyer's dangerous in those situations. Just tries to interrupt him, getting the ball away. Well, that just gives Hull more possession.
So the error and then the penalty. And Leeds under a bit of pressure here, back on their own try line, as Dwyer sweeps the ball away. On it goes from Clifford to Sutcliffe. Nene McDonald gets a hold of him, and then he gets a hold of the next man. I think it's Totoy, is it?
That's great from Nene McDonald. Just
good hustle.
Yeah, fantastic.
So they come again with Joe Lovadua on the bench last week against Castleford, but Tony Smith opting to start the Fijian. Ben McNamara. Here is Jake Clifford. Clifford, lovely hand, lovely first try of the night from Cameron Scott, and Leeds pay the price. They knocked the ball on, they conceded the penalty, and Cameron Scott finishes off that move. 23 years of age, and Scott with his first of this new campaign.
Yeah, it all came about from the penalty awarded. Here's the high kick, and the contest in the air. Adam Swift wins it, and then the reach around from Cruz Lehman is penalised by the referee. And it looks simple, doesn't it? Players running into holes, running into spaces, a little bit of ball watching. There's a nice line from Jordan Lane that just tangles up perfectly legally a couple of defenders. And then the space is there. Ash Hanley, you can see by the number on his back, he's a winger. He's asked to operate in the centre this evening. And first points to the away team.
Tidy, wasn't it, from Hull? Just a bit of pressure, penalty, error, a bit of field position. And Clifford and Hoy and all of these characters love that part of the field.
Jake Clifford, he's got a big boot on him and can kick from distance. Can he kick from angle as well? This one just in from the sideline and just off target.
Yeah, really smart from Jake Clifford. Just patient. I love how patient they are with the ball to build some pressure. Dwyer gets out from there, and it's just the subtlety of Clifford holding the ball on his hip. He doesn't really fire it straight away, and that just means that defenders are a bit more passive. They're backing off. And Clifford holds the ball on his hip, just pops it, and that's all there is.
Hull with a good record in recent history against Leeds. They've won each of their last 4 away matches at Leeds. Leeds, in fact, haven't won an official home game against Hull for 5 years. Long way to go here, but Hull with their noses in front after 14.5 minutes, 4 points to 0. Forward is the call from the south stand.
Move together, Leeds. Tackle 3, hold here. Goal third. Tom,
Dwyer. Another forward cry.
Tom, wait for that goal.
Jack Smith getting in the neck.
Goal. That's better, much easier.
Fash. Clifford on it goes to Josh Griffin, operating in the second row. His 16th professional season for Josh Griffin. And Clifford, that is a big kick. Myler underneath it, and his second clean take of the night. And then Fash gets a hold of him. A big ooh from the crowd, because Fash didn't hold back.
He's had a big start to the game, Brad Fash, and those meters that they're making means that Leeds Rhinos, when they receive the ball, for the majority of this, 15 minutes, have been coming away from their own line.
I just can't stop looking at his hair. It's incredible, isn't it?
I've said it before, Wilco, there aren't enough mullets in Super League.
No, there are enough mullets.
No,
there are too many.
No, there are not.
It's Leeds in possession. Off scoots Cruz Leeming. Good work from Leeming. And they're looking to build on that as Myler to Austin on the last. Austin gets the kick away, just. And taken by McIntosh, and McIntosh is bundled over the sideline. Well, good work from Darrell Alforts and co.
It's good work, isn't it, after the kick, but he was rushed into the kick.
The pressure is amazing.
He's aggressive, isn't it?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. As a kicker, when you've got heat coming from your inside like that, it just makes you check. It just makes you, it just makes you think again. But yeah, Leeds get the ball back here, and Hull, this is where they need to show whether they can defend. It's these areas of the field that they need to be solid defensively, Bill.
Yeah, this will be the test for them, first real test of the evening. And just to compound the problems, they're penalised for offside. So Leeds with a big opportunity here. Here is Holroyd not hanging around. Scott Taylor was down low, Fash up top, Leeming gets the pass away to Caesar. Back in field comes Reece Martin now towards those posts, edging closer to that Hull FC try line. Leeming, when it comes to Cameron Scott. Cameron Smith, beg your pardon.
The pass was on. It's Tetivano who was screaming for it.
Holroyd, he's clung onto it, he nearly dropped it. 4 tackles gone. Tetivano winding up for a charge. 5th tackle. Leeming will go for it, and he is denied. Good defensive work. Well, there was the test. Did they pass it?
You can see from the applause from those travelling fans, they think that they've done an excellent job there. But for me, there was 2 short passes. 2 occasions Leeds Rhinos had the opportunity, but either a lack of ambition or a lack of support.
Make them defend something. Make them defend a play. What are you doing? We're going to run straight over the top of you. You need more than that.
So Hull are able to bring the ball away. And the Hull fans celebrating that defensive stint by their side. Josh Griffin playing the ball. Here is Jake Clifford. Clifford trying to bump off Cam Smith.
Oh, look at him. He's a proper number 7. He turned round and blasted the players outside in Clifford.
While Tetivano's ripping into him.
McNamara's kick. And David Fusitua brings the ball back and takes
big
Liam Sutcliffe with him for a few yards. Now then, here's Nene McDonald, had a sensational season with Lee. Well, they were the Centurions last year, what is now the Lee Leopards, but last year anyway, with Lee, he got 27 tries in 27 appearances. Making his debut here tonight, Nene McDonald, having missed last week through injury. Tom Holroyd now.
It's a good test for Hull, this, isn't it, Bill? Just a period of constant defensive effort needed from him.
Leeming. Cameron Smith, Tetivano. Scott Taylor was down low. Blake Austin. A bit like Jake Clifford, isn't he, Blake Austin? He's big. Leeming. Cam Smith thought about giving the ball, went himself, gets the try, Leeds hit back. And Cameron Smith, his first of the season, not a prolific try scorer, but he's got the try, and Leeds rewarded for their perseverance.
Yeah, Cameron Smith, the loose forward, he's got a lot of facets to his play. He can pass, he sets up little plays. This is a pet play for him. Sits out the back. There's a hint of obstruction on the inside of the line, and then it's just too strong for Lovadua. You see here, is Bradfast taken out? I don't think so. Lovadua still needs to make that tackle, but this is what Cam Smith does so well. He mixes up his play, sometimes passes, he's 100 kilos, sometimes he runs, and that threat near to the line is a pet play for Leeds.
I do prefer when he's run first, Cameron Smith. We were questioning whether his ambition was there previously. He was near the line. I'm sure it was Zane Tetevano outside him. If he'd have passed that ball, he strolls in Tetevano. On that occasion, he just bumps a defender out of the way.
Well, it's the night of the Smiths, isn't it? We've had the Smiths musically before the game, Smiths coaching, Smith refereeing, Smith getting the first try for Leeds. And Reece Martin, this to put Leeds ahead. And he just does just that.
As I said, running first, taking the defenders on with support outside him. It's a great individual try from Cameron Smith, and he gets the congratulations of his teammates. All level now, even though it's 6-4 on the scoreboard. Mentally, they've got to try.
Yeah, and that's one of those plays, Bill, right? Through the week, you're watching Cam Smith do that 3, 4, 5 times. So I think Tony Smith will be disappointed that they've been done on such a simple play that we see Cam Smith do every single week.
Clifford out. Oh, whoa! Out on the full. He was looking for something wicked there, just overcooked it.
He's had an unsettling couple of minutes. Remember, he turned back. He didn't get what he wanted from his teammates. Got tackled. Got a dig in the ribs from Tetevano. He's an emotional player, isn't it?
Maybe too clever there. Kick off, trying to spiral one into the sideline, and it's just high tariff that.
They're playing against the team that does it every single time in Leeds Rhinos.
Hanley from the penalty making a strong run. Here is Darrell Alforts, and Leeds looking to go back-to-back tries maybe, because on the back of that error they are threatening again. Here's Zane Tetevano. They're inside that whole 10 now as Tetevano, the Cook Island international, plays the ball. When it comes to Season, then Reece Martin runs in to the tackle of Chris Satai. Cruz leaming, Cameron Smith, Tetevano. And Hull clinging on defensively. Leaming fancies it, bounces away. And that'll be the turnover.
It's great defence from Lovadua, isn't it? He knows Cruz Leaming's going to go. Long passes on, but in the back of his mind, out the corner of his eyes, looking at that try line.
There's no doubt where Leeds are going, is it? It's straight through the middle of the field. They've not done a lot of ball movement. Even when they've hit lead runners and kept it tight. Maybe they're setting Hull up here for something else, but it's been very direct from
Maybe the scars from last week are, and the accusations of you've not run hard enough,
been direct
have bled into this game, and it's, listen, let's just run over the top of our opposition.
A bit like Chris Satai can do. He started the game against Castleford Tigers last week. Tony Smith opting to bring him off the bench. And he can make a big impact.
Leeds have got their own big boppers on the bench, haven't they? Sam Lazzoni and Justin Sangari, who I thought was exceptional last week.
Oh, Tex Hoy, what an offload that is to Clifford. Gets it away to Cameron Scott. Darrell Alforts with the tackle on the last. Ben McNamara, a spiralling kick. Fusitua comes, this time he makes it safe. Beg your pardon, Nenny McDonald it was. No, Fusitua underneath that one. Scramble of players. Nenny McDonald now.
Move together, Ted Hull. Go past me, Kane. Cheers,
There's a glimpse of what Tex Hoy can do there. We see him run the ball, gets the ball in 2 hands, and then it just looks like he's going to create something for Hull. He might be the key to unlocking this Leeds defence for Hull.
First change made by the Rhinos. One of those big boppers on the field now. Sam Lazzoni. There's the exciting fullback, Tex Hoy.
Okay, offload. 4,
Cameron Smith is able to offload to Cruz Leemick. Jordan Lane
5.
stops his progress, assisted by Ben McNamara. Myler, back it goes to Blake Austin.
40.
We were talking admiring Jordan Abdul's kicking game last night for Hull KR, but Blake Austin can really get some height on a kick.
Ripped that one, ripped a spiral down, went down Adam Smith's throat, but yeah, he's dangerous. And kick yardage is a big hit. Well, he can kick, he can hit as well, Bill.
But they survived that. Cameron Scott skipping infield, but there is real vigorosity from the Leeds defence.
Yeah, I like it when Blake Austin plays like this. You know, he takes the line on, he kicks well, and then he's aggressive with how he defends.
Here's Brad Fash going across the field and then driven backwards. Good defence by Caesar. There is Blake Austin.
Yes, that was one, yeah.
Liam Sutcliffe now. Got a debut try last weekend at the MKM Stadium in the victory over the Castleford Tigers, did the former Leeds man. Chris Satai taking the Leeds defence with him for a few metres there.
It's tight, Barry, isn't it? It's a tight game, there's not a lot in this.
26 minutes gone, Leeds just ahead.
Okay, on 3.
Ben McNamara, here's Tex Hoy. Cameron Scott, Hull's try scorer.
Go for. Sounds good.
Ben McNamara. Chris Satai, and Satai spots an opening.
Still 4.
And he's able to make the tackle, he's able to offload and able to give the pass, which allows Liam Sutcliffe to celebrate a try on his return to Headingley. Satai granted the freedom of Headingley there as he made the run that set up the try. And it's Liam Sutcliffe, who made 223 appearances in Leeds colours, who gets the try.
Well, for the first time in his rugby league career, he has silenced the crowd at Headingley. And just look what the Leeds Rhinos do defensively here. On the edge, you can see Aidan Caesar. He's spooked by Jake Clifford, and he gets out, anticipating that the pass is going behind. But the front door, the short pass, the player in close support is the one that gets it. He strolls through the gap, finds an offload, Saté, and then it's just a bit of determination from Sutcliffe.
Yeah, it's nice. Nice piece of play. Ben McNamara, beautiful short pass to Chris Saté. We spoke about the impact of him coming off the bench. Well, that's some impact there. Found some space, got an offload. Fantastic from Hull.
Liam Sutcliffe's last Leeds appearance was that grand final defeat against St Helens that ended last season, but the way the season started for Leeds last year, you'd never have imagined them reaching the grand final, but trying to avoid back-to-back defeats at the start of this campaign are the Rhinos. Now then, Jake Clifford, who kicked 4 from 6 against the Castleford Tigers last weekend, missed with his first attempt here. Back on target. Hull regain the leads.
Yeah, and you need the guys who come off the bench to make an impact. Liam Sutcliffe with the try. But it's all about this man, Chris Saté, finding some space. And when you're so big and you're in so much space on the edge, and you've got Jake Clifford with you, there's so much doubt, it creates space for Liam Sutcliffe. Tony Smith will be delighted with a number of facets of that play, but certainly the impact from Chris Saté.
Kane Evans, the Fijian international, coming off the bench for Hull FC. Fash still out there. Over 130 appearances for Hull.
And that's what he does for his team. He finds his front. Defenders are often unable to flip him onto his back, buying a valuable second or so.
Wigan going to town against Wakefield. 28-0 the latest score. So obviously stung by that defeat by Hull KR in their round 1 game. Bevan French has got 2 of the tries. I think Liam Marshall has got the other one. That's a rip-roaring start for Wigan. Oh, there's a player down after a a tackle. It was the tackle on Ben McNamara. I think there was a collision of Leeds' heads, and Morgan Gannon felt that one. He's back on his feet.
Sure, man, it's Blake Austin.
Yeah, I like that. Blake Austin, when he has this intensity about how he plays, and the intensity in the way he plays, I think manifests itself in his defence. And that's a good sign for Leeds, that Blake Austin's so vigorous with his way he defends.
Young Morgan Gannon getting checked over, 19 years of age.
Time off.
And
You've got one of 4 options, mate. You know
just took a while to get to his feet there.
Blake, here, mate.
After that collision.
I spoke to you early on about tackle on a passing.
And it is, the signal goes.
They're all different. Yeah, they're all different on Jake Clifford, where you've let go of him. But
Yeah, it was Morgan Gannon, wasn't it? Morgan Gannon really affected that tackle. He's hurt himself in the process. But good intensity from Leeds with the defence there. That passive sort of nature, what we were speaking about, is certainly not evident.
They've got some whack and sting in the defence, and that's the reason he ends up on the wrong side of that, Morgan Gannon. His tackle technique is all over. It's finished by Blake Austin, and that's where the penalty comes from, the hips up over the horizontal. But the attitude is, we're going to try and do some damage while we're defending.
James Donaldson has come onto the field as Gannon goes off for his head injury assessment. Clifford just dinks that penalty into touch, and Hull will start on the Leeds 30-metre line. And Chris Satay, they're not going to allow him such room to manoeuvre now.
Well, that's the least metres he's made. He's had 3 carries before this one, 30 metres, 10 metres of carry his first 3. Leeds handled that one much better.
Fash.
Surrender. Stan Cruz.
On his back, can't get to his feet as quickly as he'd like. Joe Lovadua, Jake Clifford, Satay again. Satay with the drive, taking Leeds defenders with him. They eventually managed to stop his progress. Joe Lovadua, short ball, Kane Evans. Evans gets that down. Kane Evans gets the try. Or has he? Jack Smith consulting his sideline officials and then opting to go to video ref Marcus Griffiths.
So it's tackle 3 and we're checking the grounding. So have we got a view on the ball? Okay, so Evans is in possession of the ball.
Okay, mate, I'm front on. I'm not going to mess you with it. Toucher's got the inside.
Okay, we just... So... Okay, so there, it appears if the ball has come out of the hands. Have we got another angle? Okay. So at this point, Kane Evans has hold of the ball. Can we go back to the previous angle, please? Okay, so this will be the angle. So, Evans is in possession of the ball. There is clear separation at that point. Thank you, I have made my decision.
Marcus Griffiths has made his decision. He hasn't hung around, not quite as quick as Ben Thaler last night, but it looks as though Kane Evans is going to be denied a rare try, just losing his grip on that ball, and Leeds escape. That was a big let-off.
Bench players coming on and making an impact. We saw that last night, didn't we? Hull KR's bench made an enormous difference to the rhythm of the game, and on that occasion, Kane Evans couldn't get over the line, but him and Chris Satay making a massive difference.
Kane Evans denied what would have been only his second try for Hull FC. We talked about Ben Thaler and his speedy decision-making as video referee last night. Ben Thaler delivered the eulogy today in Wakefield Cathedral at the funeral of Fred Lindop, and apparently it was a fantastic turnout for the former referee.
Get the tap. Go on.
Meanwhile, Hull making progress here, and Fash bumps, turns, Clifford takes the pass. Here is Tex Hoy, and Hoy with the break, almost found a way through, and he's still on his feet. Eventually he's put down.
I like him, Bill. I like him.
Darnell McIntosh, Ben McNamara. Strong run from Jordan Lane. Hull denied a moment ago, but they're looking.
Wait here, hold.
to strike again and make it count this time. Ben McNamara, Jake Clifford, here is Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe unable to offload before he's bundled into touch, and the referee says no to Hull's protests.
Yeah, he's not played at that ball. He offloaded it in the hope of finding one of his teammates, and it hit. Is it Richie Myler?
Well, actually, Hull did this play against Castleford last week, and they caught him out. Just Jake Clifford hiding himself, and Leeds just read it perfectly. We're really passive and just forced Liam Sutcliffe towards the sideline. Patient defence from Leeds.
So Leeds defending well there, denying Sutcliffe the opportunity.
And it's little moments within the game. They've defended well, but they've defended a mistake. A loose offload from James Donaldson was collected by Hull. They defended that threat, and now they've got the ball.
Miss Hanley. You felt that up here. Thumping tackle from Kane Evans. Here is Nene McDonald now. Once of the Cronulla Sharks. When it comes to Tetivano, halfway line, fifth tackle.
Hold. Go, Chris Sette, you're not square.
Blake Austin, another big kick, and Tex Hoy was facing towards his own line and got away with that.
That's not a mistake from Tex Hoy. That's not, I mean, he fumbles it for sure, but he positions himself in a way in which that ball goes backwards. It's very smart play from Tex Hoy. Huge kick from Blake Austin. Tex Hoy just shifts his body around. Paul Wellens used to be a master of that. If you're going to make an error, it's always going backwards.
Interesting character, Tex Hoy, from a surfing family. Dad Matt, a famous surfer, but Tex Hoy's speciality is photography. He is a real dab hand with the camera. If you see his Instagram posts, he's got some amazing shots on there from his travels.
Play on, play on.
Chris Satte's changed the game for Hull, hasn't he?
Yeah. Here's Josh Griffin, though.
Go, tackle 5.
A not inconsiderable figure himself. Clifford with a little dinked kick and claimed by Sutcliffe, is it? Ball played on, and it's kicked ahead by Jake Clifford, and eventually Leeds get a hold of the ball, but just a moment of panic there. Did well there, did Liam Sutcliffe.
Well, relief for Leeds Rhinos, but to answer your question, he has changed the game. That's what you want from your bench players. Come on and maintain the tempo, and sometimes push it on. And what Chris Sate has managed to do is every time he's carried the ball, he's demanded defenders account for him, muscle up, try and deal with him, and then he's made those big meters as well.
And you know that, Barry, coming off the bench in the middle of the field, you have to have impact, don't you? You must have impact. You had impact. It's a compliment, Barry.
Is it?
Yeah.
Lost on impact, mate.
And
Just trying to make the tackle.
The error from Fusitua.
That's a cheeky little hand on it from Jake Clifford.
He's got to keep a hold of the ball, surely.
There's the big man there, just giving a nod. We've got the ball, we've got it in good position.
He missed only 3 games last year, Chris Sate, which is pretty impressive for a guy who really throws his body into the fray. And Hull, off the back of that Leeds error, 20 metres or so away, and here is Sate. And there's 3 in the tackle for Leeds to stop his progress. Tetivano gets hold of a leg eventually.
Hold it, wait lads, wait! Go, tackle 1.
Lovadua. Clifford down round his toes to pick that ball up.
Move, James, goal
Joe
line,
Cater, good to see him back in action after his Achilles problems. Joe Lovadua fires the pass. Sate quickly on. Oh, nice work. Here's Jordan Lane. Lane out the back, and it's picked up by Clifford. Clifford hounded down. Good work from Blake Austin.
Go third.
Lovadua down the short side. McNamara, ball over the top. Well done by Darnell McIntosh, but couldn't keep it alive.
Ruled out for a forward. Ben McNamara thinks he spots the winger in space. You can see his head's down, isn't it, McNamara?
Yeah, it's not the player. I think in those situations, you're man on man, you know, there's no obvious space. keep it simple, play short. The exciting play for me was, again, using Chris Satter, who's been so powerful with the ball, giving it early enough. He turned the ball up on the play previous to that, and that looks like a dangerous ploy for Hull.
I just looked at the clock, and there's under 5 minutes to go until half-time. It's absolutely raced by, and hardly a break in play on the sideline. Chev Walker, Leeds Rhinos assistant coach. Chev, it's been, from a neutral perspective, it's been a great first half, really entertaining. What about from the Leeds coaching perspective?
Yeah, we're a little bit more improved with his intent to his D, but we've leaked some points, just been a little bit clunky, and same with the ball. We're probing a little bit, but then we're just letting them off the hook with some errors and cheap giveaways, really. But we'll keep grinding, keep working out.
You're making life difficult at times for yourselves in your own half, aren't you, with the errors?
Yeah, just a bit. It's not costing us. There's a bit of energy in there, but that can only go for so long. We just need to tighten a few bits up and get to end a few kicks and put them in a bit of a cycle.
Chev, thanks, as we reach the 5th tackle, and Caesar puts the kick in, looking for a 40-20 and finding it.
He knows exactly where he is on the field. That's his best input of the half.
The season. Of the season so far, that's a big moment for him, isn't it?
And look at that, the situation that Leeds have got now on the back of that kick. Tex Hoy could do nothing about it, and Leeds, can they capitalise? It's Blake Austin who's spun to the ground by Chris Satai. Referee tells him to get to his feet. They were looking for 6 more, but here's Caesar, whose kick has laid the platform for this. Hull with some defending to do as half-time approaches to preserve their lead. Here is Caesar. Here is Sam Lissone off the bench. Cruz Leeming. Leeming looking for some movement. The movement comes from Austin. 4 tackles gone. Leeming. Here is Caesar. Caesar floats the ball over the top. Fusitua skipping infield. He's tackled by Adam Swift. On the last now. Caesar, will he look for a kick? He does! Oh, the ball bounces for Nene McDonald, but instead I think it's Ben McNamara who comes up with it. Leeds drive Sutcliffe back, but Hull escaped there, because for a moment it looked as though Nene McDonald was going to get the try.
What about that catch from Caesar? It's on his boots. Yeah. It's that far down. He catches it, kicks it. Great reaction in the chase, the defence, and they're going to get another goal with the ball before half-time.
It was great D from Hull, it was, and they've defended very well, answered maybe some of the questions we were asking about whether they could defend, but for Leeds, it's just a little clunky.
That encapsulates the first 40 minutes. Absolutely frantic at times. And Caesar disappointed that Leeds couldn't capitalise on his 40-20. Here is Sam Lissone making his home debut, the Samoan international. Last few seconds of this first 40. With Zane Tetevano. Leeds fans appealing for a penalty. The hooter sounds. Caesar flings the pass to Nene McDonald. McDonald is still on his feet, and eventually is wrapped up by Hull's defence, and that'll be it for the first half. What a 40 minutes that has been. Tony Smith, inscrutable on the sidelines. His former club, though, responding after last week's adversity. But Hull have the edge. They're 10-6 ahead at the break.